security. So being that we are trying to mimic the military doctrinal system, which has been, again, proven over time, we are going to want to maintain all 360 degrees of security. This means human eyeballs as well as fighting equipment oriented all around us in order to view and observe everything at all times. Now, this actually can be done with 3 dudes, but it's going to be fairly difficult. Now, traditionally, when this is done, regardless how many guys you have, a triangle formation is a very strong defensive formation. And yes, that can be done with 3 dudes. The downside is everyone is actually going to be responsible for 120 degrees of viewing space. And if you have, let's see, 5 eyeballs, because Fisher lost one, it's going to be even harder. Okay, now you have 3 guys, but the orientation of the tools, again, at a doctrinal level, is very selective. You're emplacing machine guns and grenadiers and designated marksmen and radiomen in certain locations in order to provide that security. But boiling it back down to just 3 civilians, how is this being done? Well, you're probably going to have to be selective as to where the specific tools are being emplaced. Let's just say notionally over in this direction, we have our water, and we're really concerned about other people coming down to get more water. There's a road over here. Well, we're then going to be selective as to where the tools are being emplaced in orientation of our concern of threat level. See, you're not just landing people wherever they want to go as they fall in. You're choosing the specific tools. You're choosing the specific tools to land in a defensive location. Think about it like a big tower defense game where a bunch of dudes are coming in, they're trying to take the tower, and you're emplacing the sticky cannon, the machine gun, the grenade launcher in those locations. Now, if someone has to step offline in order to get some sleep, to eat, or to change out the battery in their night vision, you're not just pulling that person and their equipment offline. You may be leaving the thermal and the full auto or force reset system at that location while someone else is sleeping. You're going to have to get selfless with the tools that you have in order to actually maintain security. But this also brings up another point, which is sleep.
All right, so sleep and rest. This is something that is very crucial when you're in the field. I'm probably the last person that should be talking about this, considering my typical sleep habits. But without it, even a day or 2 without it, you're gonna start to run into serious problems. You're gonna start making poor decisions. You're gonna feel awful. I mean, you may even start hallucinating. Like you may be trying to sleep at night and just all of a sudden Psycho Mantis just coalesces out of the ether of the air and you have to plug in a second controller in order to fight him without all the controls being backwards.
What's it?
It's another Metal Gear Solid reference. I don't think it's gonna stop.
Carry on.
What? So how do you maintain security and get sleep at the same time with only 3 guys? Well, it's very difficult. You're probably looking at 2-hour sleep windows for each guy before you swap out. And that's mainly because, especially at night, if you're trying to stay awake and alert for 2 hours at a time, that's about kind of when you hit your max in terms of peak effectiveness. After that, you start drifting, you start getting bored, your standards kind of start to lower, right? And so we always want to have fresh eyes. So if I'm wearing night vision and I'm on a 2-hour security rotation in the middle of the night, and I'm the only dude with nods, whenever it's time to swap out, I'm actually going to be giving my nods to the next guy and then going and getting some shut-eye. But hold on to your hats because we're not done yet, or your eye patch if you're Jonathan and you lost your eye doing something stupid, because just one guy pulling security at night is not enough. You still need to have 2, and instead of each guy having 120 degrees field of view coverage, you're gonna be looking at 2 guys covering 180. It's not ideal, but it is very doable. And just by the military standards, 1 guy would never be expected to cover 180 degrees of coverage for the whole team. Now, with that being said, there are things that as a 3-man group we can do to kind of make this job easier for us. Let's say there's only 2 of us on pulling security. We each have 180 degrees to cover. Well, that's still a hard task, so that's where early warning systems and early warning detectors come into play. We've done a whole video on this that you guys can check out. There's a lot of things that you can make in the field or prepare ahead of time and bring in to kind of lock off some certain areas so that you don't have to visually be aware of them all the time. You can hear things. You can pull brush in the area around what you're trying to like cover in order to funnel guys into a certain pathway, because especially at night, as people are moving, if you're worried about someone coming up on you, people are gonna naturally take the path of least resistance. So you can kind of funnel them into zones that you have good eyes on. You can also use tripwires and alarms like sound detection stuff. And we've laid all of that out in that video, so you should definitely check that out and get creative with how you lock down zones and try and move people into certain areas to maximize the effectiveness of just 2 guys having to cover an entire area. Now, setting up early detection systems is going to take time, and when you're working with limited manpower, you need to know that every little thing that you do like that comes at the cost of something else. It comes at the cost of setting up a really good water filtration site, or it comes at the cost of digging out a slit trench, to take care of yourself at night, which is really hard if you only have one eye.
Got your ass.
So consider these things when you're thinking about how much time it's going to have to take to set this stuff up. Maybe you're not waiting until the sun is going down to establish a PB. Maybe you're doing it in the middle of the afternoon, or early afternoon, or even late morning for that matter. And then finally, agreeing upon a rendezvous point. So if we have to pack up camp in the middle of the night, super fast, super hasty, we all kind of know where we're going to go next. Even if it's not on mission, we have an auxiliary location that if XYZ happens, we're packing up and we're moving out to.